Welcome back everyone. This is Attorney Mahmudul Hasan on the EB-1A series. We have completed our discussion on all criteria of an EB-1A petition. In this part 13, we are going to cover the letter of recommendation or support letters for an EB-1A petition. In this part, we are going to cover how many letters you are required to submit for an EB-1A petition, what is the significance of letters of recommendation, who can write those letters, how you should organize those letters, and what should be the content of those letters. Let's jump on the discussion. We call it by different names: letter of recommendation, letter of support, testimonial letters, and so forth. Letters of support are commonly included in many immigration petitions. Immigration attorneys generally recommend to include 6 to 12 letters of support with your EB-1A petition. Please remember one thing. While these letters carry some weight, they do not make the sole foundation of a successful claim except in one criterion. 8 CFR 204.5 G1 states that you can demonstrate your leading or critical role in a distinguished organization with letters from persons who have personal knowledge of the significance of your role. Otherwise, for all other EB-1A criteria, you have to provide other documentary evidence to prove that criterion. You cannot simply rely on letters. Consider an example. Joe Campbell is a scientist who has made significant contributions to the field of biotechnology. Joe includes several letters of support from respected peers and collaborators who attest to the pioneering nature of her research and her role as a leader in the research firm where she works. While these letters may establish the EB-1A criterion for her leading and critical role in the research firm, they alone are insufficient to form the basis of a successful claim for the EB-1A criterion on original scientific contributions of major significance. To substantiate her claim on the original scientific contribution of major significance, Joe would need to provide additional documentation such as patents, implementation of theories, peer-reviewed articles published in major journals, citations of her work by other researchers in the field, and perhaps awards or grants she has received for her research. On another note, many petitioners spend a great deal of time seeking letters of support. Instead, you should focus more on collecting other types of evidence, since letters alone do not substantiate a claim. Now let's discuss who should write these letters of support. The relationship or affiliation between you and the letter writer plays a crucial role that USCIS will evaluate. Since you are claiming national or international acclaim, it's important that your letters of support do not solely come from those within your immediate circle such as employers, supervisors, classmates, or colleagues. Instead, you should seek letters from individuals who are experts and industry leaders familiar with your work, but who are not directly linked to you personally or professionally. Ideal candidates might include well-respected figures in your field such as past collaborators on significant projects, your client from significant projects, editorial board members of journals where your work has been published, keynote speakers at conferences where you have presented, and so forth. It's important not to seek letters from just any experts in your field. Focus on those who have a professional understanding of your contributions through indirect interactions. These letters should clearly explain how they became familiar with your work. Now consider an example. Imagine you are a climate scientist who has contributed significantly to environmental studies. One ideal candidate for providing a letter for your petition is Dr. Emily Stone, a fellow climate scientist. But although Dr. Stone has never worked directly with you on a project, she has cited your research in her own work and discussed it during her keynote speech at the International Conference on Climate Change. Another excellent candidate could be Mr. Alex Turner, the editor of a renowned environmental science journal, where your research has been published. Please note, if you are submitting 12 letters, for example, immigration attorneys recommend submitting half of those letters from independent sources beyond your immediate circle. What should be the content of those letters? When drafting letters of support for an EB-1A petition, the content should be detailed and specific, directly addressing the criteria that demonstrate extraordinary ability. First, Each letter should start with the author's full name, position, and qualifications, including their expertise and recognition in their field. This establishes the credibility of the letter writer as someone knowledgeable, authoritative, and respected enough to assess your contributions. Then the letter should specify how the writer knows your work. This might include details such as working with you as a colleague, supervisor, employer, reading your published research, attending presentations you gave at conferences, collaborating on projects indirectly, or evaluating your work in a professional capacity. Next, the writer should provide examples of your work with which they are familiar. This could include descriptions of key projects, publications, or innovations you have developed and their importance to the industry or academia. Moreover, the letter should discuss the major significance or impact of your work. For example, how your patent or theory changed industry practices or laid a foundation for subsequent advancements. Furthermore, the letter should place your achievements in context, comparing them to those of others in your field. This could involve explaining how your work stands out in the sector, the reception of your work by other experts, or any awards and recognitions you have received. Additionally, the writer should discuss the broader impact of your work, including any national or international recognition it has garnered. This might include citation counts, media mentions, usage of your work by other entities or institutions, and other forms of acknowledgement from the global community. It's beneficial if the letter includes a personal endorsement from the writer stating clearly why they believe you qualify as someone with extraordinary ability based on their professional interaction with your work. Each letter should end with a strong conclusion reiterating the writer's support for your petition, along with their contact information for follow-up by USCIS if needed. When writing letters of support for an EB-1A petition, it's important to avoid simply repeating the USCIS definitions of this classification or making vague and broad statements about the beneficiary's accomplishments. Such letters tend to be less convincing because they do not provide specific, detailed evidence of the beneficiary's extraordinary abilities or contributions. Instead, letters should focus on providing clear, concrete examples that illustrate the beneficiary's achievements and their significance within their field. Consider an example. A letter says, quote, "I am writing to support John Doe's petition for an EB-1A. John is an extraordinary scientist with significant contributions to the field of molecular biology. His work is outstanding and he meets the USCIS criteria for extraordinary ability. John has received numerous awards and is highly respected by his peers." Quote ends. This letter is ineffective since this letter merely repeats the USCIS definition of extraordinary ability and provides broad, unspecific praises. It lacks detailed evidence and does not give clear examples of John's work or its impact. Now consider this example. The letter says, quote, "I am writing to support John Doe's EB-1A petition. In my capacity as the editor of the International Journal of Molecular Biology, I have had the opportunity to publish several of Mr. Doe's articles. His 2018 paper on CRISPR gene editing technology significantly advanced our understanding of gene therapy techniques and has been cited over 300 times in subsequent research. Moreover, his work led to a collaborative project with the National Health Institute aiming to develop new treatments for genetic disorders. Mr. Doe's contributions have not only propelled forward our scientific capabilities, but have also been recognized with the prestigious Scientist Award in 2019, a testament to his leading role in the scientific community." Quote ends. This is an effective letter because it avoids generic statements and instead details specific, significant contributions made by Mr. Doe, including the impact of his research and recognitions received. As we wrap up part 13 of our EB-1 lecture series, let's consolidate what we've learned about the letters of support in your petition. While letters of support are influential, remember they are not the sole evidence for your petition. Diversify your sources, including both those within and beyond your immediate circle. Your letters should be specific and tailored to explain your extraordinary abilities in detail and with precision. We have discussed what is the significance of a letter of recommendation for an EB-1A petition, how many letters you are supposed to submit with your EB-1A petition, who should write those letters, how you should organize your letters of recommendation, and what should be the content of those letters. Please follow us for more on the US immigration. Please consult an experienced immigration attorney for a personalized advice on your EB-1A petition. If you would like to hire my service for your EB-1A petition, you can Google me, Mahmudul Hasan, immigration attorney, and you will find my current affiliation. Thank you very much for watching this.